Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Happy Wednesday. My name is Jenna. I'm with Emerging Destinations. We represent cool companies and cool places. And you can see up there on your screen, also the lovely Judy Carvajal is joining us from the Galapagos Islands. So before I introduce her, though, I will take a quick minute to introduce our portfolio to you. So if this is your first time attending an Emerging Destinations webinar, then welcome. Hopefully you are familiar with us and all of the cool companies and cool places we represent around the world. Speaking of which, we have a new portfolio, if you will. We've combined our Asia and our Europe portfolio. So now we have a Eurasia portfolio as well, in addition to our Africa and our Americas. And since we're talking about Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands today, I will just take a quick minute to briefly introduce our Americas portfolio to you. So although if you do have any questions about any of the clients that you see up there on your screen, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is at the bottom there below. We also have Guyana, who we are representing the tourism board. So if you have any questions about the destination of Guyana, I'm more than happy to assist you with that. In the Americas, we also have La Coralina Island House, which is a 5-star property in Bocas del Toro, Panama. Las Torres Patagonia, which is a property in Cerro del Paine National Park. And we can also do the trekking circuits as well. So if you have any clients interested in an active adventure, we are able to assist you. And last but not least, in our Americas portfolio, we also have a River House Lodge, which is a fishing lodge and a leisure lodge in Patagonia as well, but on the Argentinian side. So if you have any questions about any of those clients that you see up there, if you'd like any digital materials, etc., I'm more than happy to do a one-on-one training with you and your team or assist in any way possible. Now, a couple housekeeping items to go over before I officially hand things over to Judy. This webinar will be recorded, so if there's any reason that you missed any of today's webinar or if you need to step out early, I will be sending the webinar recording out to everybody later this week. Also, please remember that all of our previously recorded webinars are also posted on our Emerging Destinations YouTube channel. So if you do want to have a peruse there, we have a bunch of different great subjects that you can catch up on if you have the time. And last but not least, we are also doing a Q&A at the end of today's webinar. So please stick around for that. You can type through your questions using the GoToWebinar control panel. And we will get to as many of those as possible today at the end of today's presentation, which is on, because I don't think I actually mentioned it yet, which is on the Passion Yacht, the luxury yacht in the Galapagos Island that is owned and operated by Judy Carvajal and Enchanted Expeditions. So I know that Judy's going to give you an introduction to today's theme, as well as a little bit more in-depth introduction to the company. So without further ado, I will pass things over to you.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Galapagos, and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Judy Carvajal. As Jenna said, I'm the founder and owner of Enchanted Expeditions. We are a DMC for all of Ecuador, with our main office being in Quito. And here in Galapagos, we own and operate 3 yachts and a lodge. Today, I'll be talking about our luxurious one, the Passion. Whoops. Okay. Before we get to the Passion, though, for those of you who are not too familiar with Ecuador, as you can see on this map, Ecuador is a very small country with big adventure, and the Galapagos are off the coast of Ecuador. Ecuador is actually quite close to North America. It's only a mere 3 hours and 50-minute flight to Miami, 5 hours to Houston, so easy access from North America. Ecuador is special in the sense it's really small with 4 very distinct regions. The highlands, which runs, I would call it the highlands, but it's the Andes. It's the Andean range that runs from Colombia, down to Peru. And along that range, various indigenous groups can be visited. That's where we see the rich cultures, the art and artisans. Then we have the Amazon basin with several lodges to be explored. And then, of course, the Galapagos Islands and the coast. So it's a small country hugely diverse, so you can cover a lot in a short space of time. So today we're going to head to Galapagos. It's 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador. It's a 2-hour flight from Quito or 1.5 from Guayaquil. It's a national park. There are about 13 major islands, and what you see in green is the national park, 97% national park. The other part is colored in a little yellowish color. That's where people live, in that 3%. We're about 35,000 people living here. Now, this is a World Heritage Site, and not only is it a national park on land, it is a marine reserve. It's one of the few places, I think probably the only one in the world, where you have a national park within a marine reserve. And who are we? We are different. We are very local, family run. I'm the owner of the company. And unfortunately, very few little boutique, locally owned companies left with over 45 years in the business, whether it be here in the Galapagos or the mainland. We work with communities, we support local, we buy local, we hire local. Everybody working for us is from the islands or from mainland Ecuador, where our office on the mainland is concerned. We consider ourselves a very caring company and very much involved with the conservation of Galapagos. And this is our wonderful passion. Passion is our luxury yacht out of the 3 yachts we operate. She is for 14 passengers, 7 cabins. We'll see photos of these. 2 are suites, 5 are staterooms, 2 hot tubs, indoor, outdoor, lots of deck space. There's one thing with this yacht that's really special is the amount of deck space, whether it be in the Sky Lounge or elsewhere. 159 feet, and she cruises at 10 knots. She had stabilizers, was originally built as a private yacht in Germany. So the space is great for families and friends. It has that atmosphere in it. Outdoor lounges. And I want to point this out because, you know, traveling around Galapagos, even though we travel at night, we do travel also during the day. So these are spaces to enjoy while we're moving from one destination to another, whether you're observing birds or whales or dolphins. And here what we have are 2 different hot tubs to be enjoyed on different decks. As you can see, what we also have is outdoor dining. We have a covered area that is removable where we do dining outside also. Anyway, I'm just flipping through there. So the indoor lounges. Behind this lounge is where the outdoor dining takes place, and we have a removable roof that goes. But this indoor lounge is almost like being outdoors. It's you know, glass all around. And so yes, obviously we have indoor downstairs, but this upstairs one has its own bar. Beautiful space, and it's one of the highlights of this yacht, to be up here while the boat is cruising, or just not cruising, just relaxing. And this is our wonderful salon. Again, large windows, so even though you're inside, you're still outside, enjoying outside. The dining. So as mentioned, there's dining outdoors and dining indoors. And the dining is done in one large dining table that everybody can be around. And it's great for groups that, you know, families, because this boat is often chartered by groups of families and friends, but also for individuals who travel and would like, you know, a nice, great conversation. And in the evening, we do pride ourselves on the food. You know, we have a master chef. The food is both Ecuadorian and international, very elegant, 3 to 4 course meals, snacks throughout the day. And this is where it's enjoyed. I'm just showing you so you get a sense of the yacht. All right, we're coming to the suites and staterooms. The boat has two, we call them the VIP suites, 7 luxurious cabin tourist suites, and 5 of these luxurious staterooms. They're all luxurious. And 2 of them, the 2 suites, they each have his and her bathrooms, actually 2 bathrooms per suite, obviously hot and cold showers, air conditioned. So here is one of the VIP suites with a king bed, bathrooms. And here's the master suite, also another VIP one that includes his and her bathroom in there, king beds. Very, very spacious and very comfortable. Now, staterooms, there are 5 staterooms. This one has a queen bed, large bathroom also. This stateroom number 2 has twin beds. And this one has a full and a twin. So, and that is also important. Sometimes we have a couple with a child. We could take an extra person on board. The permit does allow for that, even though it's 7 cabins. And usually we carry 14 people. And this one has a full and 1 twin, the 4th. And the 5th one is a king bed that can be turned into a twin. All right, the itineraries. In the Galapagos, the itineraries are approved by the national park. About 25 years ago, roughly, or 20 years ago, the national park came up with a system where we cannot go to the same island except to reprovision within 2 weeks. So our itineraries are divided in 1 week, one area, another week, another area. We send in our requests at the beginning of the year, and the national park approves it. As a company, we do pride ourselves in our itineraries. I come with a background, I was a guide here initially. My background is in evolutionary biology, so to me it's so important that our itineraries are all encompassing and are excellent. So on the Passion, we call the Western itinerary. We're covering the Western Islands, as you can see here. And these itineraries, you go on shore in the morning, and at lunchtime, right after lunch, the boat moves to its second site. So every day you're seeing a second site. As you see, 16 sites are visited over the 8-day period. And of course, accompanied by the naturalist guide. And every day almost, there's a snorkeling or kayaking activity. Oh, I'll go back to the Western itinerary. People wonder sometimes what is the difference. If it's your first time in Galapagos, it really makes no difference. Or unless you're a bird watcher or you want to see a specific, in this case, bird, because most of the iconic animals and wildlife in Galapagos, you'll see in all itineraries. However, this itinerary, the spectacularness of the landscape when you're going around Western Isabella is just amazing, and more chances of spotting whales. And on that itinerary is the only one you'll see the flightless cormorant, for example. On the Eastern now, we're covering different islands, and the highlights here in terms of things you won't see on the West is the red-footed booby in Genovesa and the albatross on Hispaniola at a certain time of the year when they're nesting. But that being said, the marine life is so rich. So all the snorkeling activities and the daily land activities make it for a very, very rich experience altogether. Now, the Passion has an unusual permit. Not many boats in Galapagos have that, whereby we're allowed to run dive cruises. Now it could be a completely dedicated dive cruise, or it could be mixed. And this works best if it's a family group or a group of friends where you have some people diving and some people not diving. So when those are diving, the others might be doing something else, and that is determined at the time. So, and as is known, Galapagos is one of the unusual and very special dive places in the world. And here's what a typical day would look like. Usually. Now, there are exceptions for those. There's sometimes people who want to get up really, really early, but generally breakfast is at 7. At 8 o'clock, we get ready, we go on shore. We do our first visit on land with our naturalist guide. We get back 10:30, 11-ish, get our snorkeling gear on, and we go for our snorkeling experience. In some sites, there's kayaking, but most sites it's snorkeling. And then you get back on board and we have lunch. Then right after lunch, the boat moves to its second site for the day. We have a break, and roughly around 3 o'clock, you'll gear up again and go for another snorkeling experience on most days. And then around 4:30, back on shore for our last shore visit. And we're back on board usually around 6:15. Dinner 7 p.m. After dinner, the briefing comes with our guides. Guides are very important for Galapagos. They're highly well-trained, and over the years, we have a group of hand-picked guides based on their knowledge, their storytelling, they're passionate, and these they make the trip for many people, and we know that. So we do pride ourselves in the quality of our naturalist guides. Here we're coming now to the rates. These are our 2025 rates. And of course, they include meals and everything, all the food on board, et cetera, snorkeling gear. As you can see, the suites are $9,500 per person per week, the stateroom $8,000, and then the charters. You see two different prices here. We have something called a diamond charter. These are charters where we add on a dedicated cruise director, a choice of a photographer, nanny, or extra guide, VIP lounge, itinerary changes, because even though our itineraries are set by the national park for the year, we can request changes in advance, and there is a cost to that. So this would be included in what we call a diamond charter. And this is, Galapagos. Now, that was a brief story about the passion and cruising the Galapagos. One of the things I've added to this webinar here is traditionally people came to Galapagos just to go on a boat, not realizing that there is a community of people that live here, whether it be on San Cristobal, Santa Cruz, or Isabel, and even a small one on Floriana. And to end your cruise with a couple days on land would really complete the full Galapagos experience, see how it is to live here, what are people doing, to taste stuff that's grown here, meet local people. And one of the options would be at our lodge. We own a lodge. It's called the Enchanted Galapagos Lodge. And this lodge is on the highlands of Santa Cruz. It's 100 acres of land. It was a farm, a converted farm, but it's still farmed. We have our cacao plantation there, coffee, we grow many things. And here we have 10 spacious rooms. We have a cheese factory on site. We do chocolate workshops. We have a forest trail. It's just a wonderful place to just wrap up your trip on board the boat before heading home. Great cuisine, lovely dining area, overlooking the farm, or just hanging out by the fireplace in the cooler season, or just enjoying the pool and the hot tub, just taking it easy, relaxing in a hammock on the beautiful covered decks, or rolling out a yoga mat and doing some yoga practice. And so this is the style. It's a hacienda style. I'd like to point out something. All the wood that has been used for everything at the lodge was harvested from the farm. These are introduced trees that were brought to the islands many, many, many years ago, and we are allowed and encouraged to use them. So this wood was cut from there, and all this workmanship is by local carpenters. All the artwork is from local artists. So we support as much as possible. Obviously, the tapestries are from mainland Ecuador. And this is the sense of the place, very relaxing, outdoor decks with hammocks, really extremely tranquil. And what do we do on site? Other than relax, you can take part in a chocolate making experience, an artisanal chocolate, or visit our cheese factory. We have a small cheese factory on site, a beautiful project that started during the pandemic. And this is my son-in-law, and we make, 5 different types of mature cheeses, Swiss cheeses. In fact, the Camembert has won several awards on the mainland, competing with other South American countries. So we're talking about quality cheese right here in Galapagos on our little lodge, at our little lodge. And you can do this chocolate making workshop, which is a lot of fun. Or just walk the trails and go around, enjoy our farm. Or take one of the bikes and ride down to a beach, or visit one of the local artisans, or go to a beer brewing place, or go into the vibrant little town of Puerto Llora. And this would really complete your complete Galapagos experience, the wonderful yacht experience traveling around the islands, and then coming to a place on Santa Cruz and wrapping it up, meet local people, eat at local restaurants, and just enjoy. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Judy, for a wonderful presentation. I know I certainly feel inspired to go to the Galapagos Islands now, so I'm sure others do as well. With that in mind, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them through using the GoToWebinar control panel now. I know that we've already received a few throughout Judy's presentation, so we will get to those in just a moment. But if anybody else does have a question or just simply a comment, please feel free to share those with us now. Okay, so let's get started here, Judy. So I think there was a question about the charters, which I know that you kind of ended up answering throughout your presentation. So just in regards to the room with the 2 twins, is it possible for that room to be combined for the beds to be pushed together for a couple, or for perhaps for it to be used for a guide, etc., or a trip leader?
No, there's an extra cabin for the trip leader. The what happens with the one, there is one of them that has the twins that you can put together. There are a couple of them you cannot separate, but there are others you can put together. I'd have to go back to the images. But there is the one that has the twin, the beds come together.
And are any of the cabins connecting?
No.
Okay. So just with that question, to just kind of continue on there. In terms of children on board, do you have a minimum age requirement?
No.
And
that
what
goes
about all our, oh, sorry. That goes for all of the property, or all of the properties, all of the boats, rather, all of the ships?
Yes. We don't, oftentimes if there's a charter, and what I meant with the special charters, like if they went for a diamond charter, we could bring a nanny on board and so on. But when we, any boat really at Galapagos, our crew's there for the safety of all the passengers and everybody, but they're not there as babysitters. You know, it's something we want to make. People need to be conscious that they're taking care of their children. But the Passion is a boat for small children because of the type of railings or bulwarks it has around.
And in regards to single cabins, because I don't believe you have any single cabins on the Passion, do you have a single supplement fee?
There is a single supplement fee, and honestly, I cannot remember offhand what it is, but there is a single supplement fee.
I will make sure to include that in the webinar follow-up for you, Christian. I know that you had asked that question, so I will make sure to have that information for you before the end of the day. Now, in regards to the itineraries, you had mentioned about a 7-night itinerary on board the Passion. Is there anything else that you have available in terms of 3 or 4 nights, or is it just a 7-night itinerary?
On the Passion, it's only a 7-night.
Okay. Now, there's a few more questions. There's actually quite a few questions, so just give me one moment to peruse through and see which ones I haven't actually answered yet. So in that fee that you included, was the national park entrance fee additional over and above that?
Yes, national park fee, air tickets, and so on are extra. This is just the cruise.
Okay, perfect. And offhand, what is the current national park entrance fee per person?
The national park is $200. It changed last year in August. And the migratory fee currently is $20. So it's $220 in permits to get into the national park.
Okay. And in regards to the diving, do we have pricing for that, or is it just best for them to reach out?
That's because it varies. It depends on a lot of things in terms of, are they bringing gear? They're not bringing gear. What are we supplying? This and that. So that would have to be case by case.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, if you do have questions about the diving program, since it is such a unique place for the diving, as Judy just mentioned, that can change for various different reasons, please feel free to reach out to us. You can see up on your screen there is sales at enchantedexpeditions.com, or you can also reach out to me. I'm happy to help with any questions that you might have preliminarily before actually getting a quote, or so you can reach out to me at jenna@emergingdestinations.com. And let me just double check if anybody else has any more questions, feel free to type them through now. I believe I've gotten through them all. I know there's quite a few good comments here. Judy saying thank you for the amazing presentation and for being so thorough in the introduction to the destination, etc. So I think that that's all that we have. But again, if I missed anything, please feel free to reach out to me, jenna@emergingdestinations.com, and I'm happy to help with any questions that you might have about Enchanted Expeditions or elsewise. But I think that's it for, oh, sorry, go ahead, Judy.
I just noticed a spelling mistake on the sales. It's sales at Enchanted Expeditions.
Oh, and I actually said sales as well. Yeah, sales@enchantedexpeditions.com. So I will make sure to include that email address in the webinar follow-up, which you will receive with this recording before the end of this week. And also, we will be doing another Enchanted Expeditions webinar in June. So please stay tuned for our next subject. And hopefully you can join us then as well before the busy summer season gets a hold of everybody. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We know everyone's busy this time of year. So thank you for joining Judy and we look forward to hosting you again in June.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thanks, Judy. Take care. Bye now.